Spooky People's Pod. Gather round and listen to the Night Lord. Trick or treat, fill my pillowcase with details. Not with nothing nasty like John Gruden's emails. How about something sweet? Menage a trois, lamb abroad, hooked on Stephonics, Amari Cobb, fuck yeah, Doug, Judy, Pontiac, Bandit. Welcome to the Spooky People's Pod. Gather round and listen to the Night Lord. All hail, Night Lord!
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be wearing them for long. Got it.
Hey!
Woo! Look at you guys.
Happy Halloween, motherfuckers! People's Podcast. What is this? Week 7 review, Week 8 preview, Halloween edition. We got 2 special guests. We got the return of Bakeroo.
Yes. Let's go.
He's here to atone for his terrible takes from last
No.
time.
We're here to rub in everything that I got right into your faces.
There you
Toothless and Chewbacca.
That's right. And then we have Bill from Bend.
Yeah,
we're doing it live. We're doing it live. We in Oregon. Cool. So first up, weekend updates. Why don't we start with Bakeroo? How's this past weekend go for you?
Oh man, I'm not prepared for this. What did I do? It was raining. Sunday was the storm of the year. It was indoor football watching. Oh, I'm getting a phone call from the office. I better decline that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a low-key storm weekend. I watched a lot of Frisbee on stream. There was a USAU Nationals going on, so I followed along there as much as I could, chopped some firewood like the good old days. And let's see what else. My home gym setup got an addition.
Yeah.
We got a trap bar and we got a squat bar and we have a couple 100 pounds of bumper plates. So
Wow.
the home gym is up and running these days. Good weekend.
That we were playing all of our games in the barn over there.
That's right. The site of the infamous wall sit, or the legendary wall sit.
The 3 of us competitors right here.
Yeah.
Wow. This actually is the wall
Wow.
sit pod. Wall
Yep,
sit pod.
That is now the site of the new squat bar. So you guys, what we all started together is now the permanent home of my pain and suffering and personal development.
and victory. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of sweat shed there.
All right. What about you, Bill?
Yeah, very eventful weekend. We went to the Oregon coast for Becca's birthday. She's very alive and well.
Haven't seen her.
Becca, she's around. She's fine. She's fine. Anyway, there was this rumor of the bomb cyclone, whatever it was called, on the West Coast. We saw it in the Niners game, how that was just dumping.
Yeah.
So that missed the Oregon coast. But what happened was like 60-mile-an-hour winds. Very epic. It was like during low tide, it kind of looked like Interstellar. There was like huge openness, and the sand was being blown to like mid-calf level. So when you were walking, the feet were invisible, and you were just, this person was like gliding. It was very trippy. We were like leaning into the wind.
Did you look like Le'Veon Bell rushing through the A gap in quicksand?
Wow, everyone else was on freshly mowed grass. Yeah, I was very slow. No, very cool weekend weather-wise. And then on the drive home, I held the little Peebly baby.
Ah, yes.
Little Nadia. Such a trip. Wow. Congratulations, Andrew. And Anya. You know what's weird? I just thought about There's a couple of couples where it's like AA, Anya Andrew, Bill Becca, Colin Chelsea, ABCs.
Hey,
Isn't that kind of weird?
Wow. Do we have any other? Let's see, we got
There's
Max and Calbos. We got
Aaron and Ashley.
Aaron and Ashley.
Aaron and Ashley.
Yeah.
Wow.
Adam and Alice. Those are vowels. I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
But-
Adam and Noel.
No.
Sean and Kelsey. Nope.
No.
Doesn't do it. Scott. Does anyone know what Scott's girlfriend's name is?
Scottalina.
Scott and Scottalina.
I don't know, but
That's that's close to a trend.
Stu and Amber.
that's not gonna.
No, I now I feel like it's a shout out to everybody.
I feel like it's half torn between. Anyway, Nadia is so cute. Such a little angel. Congratulations. It was like very weird holding a kid. I'll tell you that. That's kind of weird, but great weekend. We ate some mushrooms we found in the forest. Great times. Didn't die.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I rounded it out. So my weekend, as Bacon mentioned, it was Natty's in San Diego. So I went out and I was able to watch the Condors for one game. They started their tournament out at such a high note. They beat the 2 seed very handily, and then they lost just a bunch of games in a row after that to basically they were out. So they got second in their pool after going 1-2, beating the 1 seed in their pool. And then they lost. Yeah, they beat Machine, and they lost to Truck by a good amount, which was the live stream game. And then they lost on Universe to Dig. But it didn't really matter what their result was in that last game, so they're still getting the 2 seed. Then they lost on Universe to Johnny Bravo in what was pre-quarters. And then I watched their next game against Sub in like the 7th place bracket. There was a very weird bracketing that they did. So they were still in line for 7th, even though they had lost their pre-quarter game.
Yeah.
They beat Sub, and then they lost to Dig again. And then after that, it was just like, I don't know. I think they finished like 11th or something. So missed opportunities for the Condors, but I watched them a little bit. And then Saturday night they had their banquet, and I hung out with them at the Marquette House, which is where
Good times.
some of those San Diego dudes live. And then went out, got pretty blitzed. Sunday, watched a good amount of football, and then did some pumpkin carving. I carved Jack Skellington, and Chelsea did a little scuba mask in hers.
Yeah, I look like this.
Yeah. I think hers was the best out of all. There was like a carbon one that someone did. And then, basically that was my weekend. Also, because I'm not working a full 8 hours a day, not even close to that. I've been reading. I just got a trilogy for Thrawn. I think I mentioned it to you, Bacon, last week. But I finished the first book. It was like around 500 pages, finished the trilogy. And so that's like my new time suck is reading these, this Thrawn legacy Star Wars novels.
Awesome. Thrawn, one of the great villains in Star Wars lore.
It's pretty interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his character in Star Wars Rebels. You know, he was as formidable a strategical leader as he was a combatant. You know, he was a skilled combatant too, and not to be trifled with.
He was like Ender in Ender's Game.
Yeah,
but for evil.
Yeah, and an adult version.
That's true. Ender was
interesting to read because the books are from the like viewpoint of the Empire. So it's like Thrawn is a protagonist, right? And like
he's a hero, war hero, right?
So the first book that I just read was about his basically like rise into the Empire. Like it starts with like them just like finding him on a random planet. He's this like random alien dude. And then
what's he doing? Like building the best houses out of sticks and stones, or
he's a deep character, right? So how they find him, it seems like that, where he's just like in this hut on a random world. But apparently that was like organized by whatever alien association he's with. Like he was like planted to be picked up by the Empire. And then this book chronicles his like very rapid rise from basically nothing to fucking Grand Admiral, right? Like all the way to like commanding his own starship. And yeah, it's interesting because like the Empire are the protagonists in the book, and the bad guys are like smugglers and pirates and revolutionaries and rebels, basically. So it's very interesting and different viewpoint than what, you know, all of Star Wars basically is, where you're with on the side of the Jedi and the rebels and like those fighting against the like imperialistic power. And at least in this first book, it's like those are the guys you're rooting, you are rooting for him, right? Like you're getting to know this character like pretty intimately, and there are other people that are close to him too. So it's cool. I'll keep the updates coming. But anyway,
thank you. That'd be great to hear.
We have now reached the atonement segment. So Bill has been gracious enough to provide some Jameson to me and him. I'm going to atone for, and this one is kind of like a full season's worth coming. I'm not drinking out of that glass.
I will be drinking out of that glass. Yeah, I got you this one.
Yeah,
the whiskey makes me frisky for a Colin.
That is Gall.
I'm feeling frisky for sure.
I planned this. I didn't want you to have the Raiders.
Okay, well, thank you. My atonement is going to be for my Jamar Chase hate. I know
Haterade.
We have talked about it basically weekly about how he's crushing it, but literally just culminated in this last week with me playing Stu and Jamar Chase putting up 200 yards and 2 touchdowns on like 8 catches.
Ooh,
200 yards.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
God. He scored 30 points. So this is the atonement shot for that. But I'll wait for you all. So Bill, what's your atonement for?
Yeah. So my atonement, actually, it's something I haven't even done yet, but it's something I will atone for in the very near future. Last week, I spent $15 on Rashad Penny. I didn't play him, and I'm going to drop him. So I'm sure we'll visit the Fab budget calculator, but I know what 0 divided by anything is. It's 0. So
it doesn't matter how much you spent.
So there you go. It was a penny worth saving.
Thinking, what do you got? You have something to atone for?
I can't think of anything other than some of my bad claims from last week. I think I said O'Malley and Brandon McManus were going to have a big week. Menage a trois.
Mm-hmm.
McManus got 2 points and was promptly thereafter dropped. So I will be atoning for that poor pick, and just going to kill the rest of this drink here.
Fair.
So,
let me add one thing.
Yeah, Bill's got some breaking news.
Jamar Chase, the number 2 wide receiver on the year.
Wow,
we're giving shit for that.
All right, Colin.
Atonement.
I feel better already.
Don't like that. No, I like that.
This is Weaver's idea. Where is this guy? Skipping over the past hour.
This atonement brought to you by Jameson. Anytime that you need to atone for any of your life's decisions, do what Jameis Winston does and drink Jameson.
Speaking of a Jameson shot, because of this disc golf round that we just finished, where even though I had a quote unquote sunset, at my best, at my peak, I was at -3. I ended at even, lost to Buckaroo Jordan by 1 stroke. Bill finished at +4. So he'll be doing a shot on Sunday morning. Yeah, things you love to see.
That's right.
Ooh, okay, next segment. Moving on here. This is a hotly debated topic, not one that we've discussed recently, but one that did come up with fervor over Stu's wedding weekend. Was what makes a Hall of Fame drinking champion? There seem to be 2 camps. Camp number 1 is the undisputed winner of the drinking competition. So whether that is relays or a beer pong tournament, whoever wins that,
Undisputed.
so just like first place in that one, right? You can't dispute that. The overall winner.
Not a tie.
Or second camp of thought is the overall points winner for the entire weekend. So the person who gets the first overall choice of pick would then also be the Hall of Fame drinking champion for that year. So with that, let's throw it to Bakeroo. What do you think?
I think if you don't pull off the sweep, most points and win the relays, you're not Hall of Fame.
Interesting.
Yeah, you got to do both.
So can I ask you?
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
I haven't won any of these competitions, so that's just.
I agree with you. I want to ask you one thing. So, is there no champion if the winner of the relays does not win most points? Like, what happens? Is there just
There's a champion. There's a process of events. It's just not. You don't get the Hall of Fame label in the front of it. There's categories.
That's the third option.
That's the third option.
Third option we didn't even consider. So I think I'm going to speak for the majority of the league. From
There we
the
go.
people I've spoken to is and by the way, please, if you listen to this, listeners, throw in the group me what you where you're putting your weight behind. But basically, as I've understood it, when we classically did draft weekend, we only would have one competition to decide draft pick order. That usually was relays. So that person was both the winner of the pick and the winner of the event, and therefore the Hall of Fame drinking champion of that year. As we've added more events, I've always kept the belief that you have to win the drinking competition to be the Hall of Fame. And as is evidenced by Bills winning, winning this last year, but also losing in Portland when we were there with Pebbles, because Pebbles won the drinking competition over Bill to get his Hall of Fame drinking status.
But I won the most points.
But did not win the most points overall. Bill did. We would be taking Pebbles' Hall of Fame drinking championship away from him if we were to go with the you have to have the most overall points. So in summation, I think that you have to win the drinking competition, and that's separate from the already rewarded points total. So you get the most points, you get the first pick. You win the drinking championship or drinking competition, you get the Hall of Fame championship. And then we're going to pass to you, Bill. What do you think?
Yeah, I have very similar thoughts. I would feel wrong because with the logic of the most points, I would be a two-time, but I celebrated very hard for my one time this last year, and I didn't even know I was already one time, according to some logic. That was my two-time.
A small camp.
It's good that we're clarifying this all now. We gotta get it cleared up. It's gonna be on a plaque someday.
Oh, it will be on a plaque someday. But also this recent year, before the relays, because it was me and Adam in the finals. I had already locked up by the time the finals met. I think that was the last event. Was it not? I think it was.
The finals were the last event.
Yeah. So by me being in the top two, I had already solidified first pick. So it's almost like if I won or lost, I was going to win. But the reason I persevered and won was because I felt like in order to be the Hall of Fame drinking champion, I would have had to win the relays. How could I be the Hall of Fame drinking champion if I didn't win the relays. If Adam beat me,
you just back into a win. That's like
yeah,
the opposing team scoring the last goal in ultimate in hard cap, but you still get the win.
Yep.
It doesn't feel right.
So I could see both sides of like, but so my inclination is winning relays or the drinking event. I think we need to go in each year with a highlighted drinking event, like publicize it, being like, this is the event. It might be worth more points. It's also worth the title, and that's the event. If you win that, you are the champion.
That one goes on YouTube for sure.
And it will become a placard moment.
Instagram Live. Yeah, I agree, Bill. 2022 in Vegas. Where are we going? No, Minnesota. Where are we going?
Those are the top two choices right now. Yeah, Vegas and Minnesota.
All right.
So follow up to this one. This is a fun discussion that Bill actually brought up to us earlier. What would happen if a proxy such as Curtis would win the drinking event?
This is a good question because I might be hiring Kurt Dog services. He's a good player.
Yeah. I got the 4th overall pick because of Kurt's efforts.
What were the stipulations in Curtis's participation this season?
I think there were none.
There were none, dude.
Were there any negative tiebreakers? If there was a tie, Kurt got second. No, it was just straight up.
I remember Kurt crushing in the cornhole and
destroyed me in cornhole.
I mean, he finished 4th overall. I think he just like did.
There's a decent chance Kurt could win in future events, like hands down. Like he's capable.
Yeah, this is a legitimate scenario that needs to be discussed.
so
before next year's draft weekend.
Bill actually has a really cool.
So in the event that Curtis wins
or another proxy.
So here's my thing is Curtis on his own individual status has his own platform. He beat us all in the drinking championship, but there's several reasons why he can't claim that title because he might not be there next year. We might all show up and there might not be a proxy. Like, what if? So the title can't be not up for grabs. And also, another layer is that when we went into draft weekend, we have this underneath anxiety of not just performing well, but like who we're drafting. Whereas Kurt just went into this as like, hey, I'm just going to drink as much and perform as best I can for Brad. I'll let Brad worry about the draft. We're all just like trying our best. And we're like, oh, I might be 9th. Oh, who am I going to draft? Oh, shoot. So we have this whole level to whereas I'm thinking in order to be the claim the championship, you need to be in the league and like you can't.
So does that mean the proxies have a ceiling of 2?
Well, do you have a solution? Share your solution.
Well, here's the thing. So in the event that Curtis wins, he's obviously going against somebody, right? That person goes sudden death with the past reigning champion in a winner take all sudden death. One relay.
This is like I see where you're going. This is like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
you gotta play the ladder. You gotta beat everybody up the ladder, and then you face off against Goro. And if you beat Goro, then you still have to do the head-to-head against Shang Tsung.
Yeah,
the defending champion or whatever.
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, in the unlikely event, I think that would be amazing. You get so you have the proxy versus the challenger, whoever that is. And then if the proxy wins, they have that personal pride, but then there's another championship sudden death game against the previous champion.
Yeah.
The next question would be though, what if that is the previous champion?
Well, then they're the champion.
Then one game. One game to decide them all.
Yeah.
Everything on the line. That's fun.
Themselves?
I hope we come in across
Maybe
that.
there's like a people's champion. There's like everybody else votes for the challenger.
The seventh place winner. That's the people's bracket. 7th place winner gets to fight.
Food for thought. Let us know, huh?
Yes, indeed. I hope it happens.
That'd be insane. If Curtis has to keep coming or other procties. I think
Kurt's always invited.
Kurt's been there. Yeah, exactly. Last 2 years, he'll be invited every year. Next section, listener questions. There are a number, but one that Bacon and I have answered in the past few podcasts is the contender versus the pretender. When I answered this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said that Max was a contender that has not aged well for me. I said Brad was a pretender. He's currently 3-4, so we shall see. I'm actually playing him this week, so I have a stake in that.
Right, you have an impact to play.
Bacon, I think you said that Brad was a pretender, but who was your contender that you chose?
I picked Aaron Weaver last week.
Oh, and
he won. He's in second place.
Yeah,
but rumor has it he's trying to trade away all of his players right now.
There's a lot of guys on the block.
It is.
Oh man. Okay. I'm sticking true to Weaver contender, Jiggy pretender, even though team Jiggy still sits atop the leaderboard for points scored in the league. I say he's a pretender, and right now he currently sits outside of the playoffs.
He does.
Yeah, Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the leaderboards. Pretty much, if you have won 4 games, you are in the playoffs. If you are 3 wins, you're not in the playoffs. Right now, a team with 4 wins, and my matchup, who I'm playing this week, is O'Malley. I think he's a pretender.
Oh,
yeah. He doesn't have a lot of points scored. I think he's you can't even. I think he's just a phony of a team, and I'm gonna scrape him this week. And yeah, good luck to you, O'Malley.
He did score the absolute low on this past week, like 56 points.
Yeah, dude.
56 points.
Yeah. I might beat that on Monday. I don't even have any players. And I think a contender that's not in the top 6 is Scott. He has a plethora of running backs. And I keep looking at my team and I'm like, dude, my team sucks. My top 2 picks are out, and Darren Waller, my 3rd pick, but I look at everyone else's team. Everyone's team is hurt. Every single team. This might be the most hurt league we've ever had, but yet Scott has a very sound foundation of running backs. So
sure does.
I am thinking his just core running back group can get him some very key victories. I have been trying to trade with Scott for like 4 weeks now, and he has not even ghosted me. I just don't want to. We haven't agreed anything. But anyway,
there's a dialogue going.
All right. You can only play 2 or 3 running backs at a time. And,
he has 4.
Got 4 good ones too, doesn't he?
4 good ones.
Yeah, I almost have a problem. I have 2.5 good ones, and after a couple weeks, all you're really doing is blocking the other teams from scoring more points, which has value
for sure.
But sometimes it's like, man, I can't play everybody, and I need some wide receiver help. He's running out Nelson Aguilar this week. He's averaging about 4 points, 5 points. We'll see. Scott's got it. He's been a strong team the last 3 weeks. We actually we have some hashtag podcast math analyzing the performance over the last 3 weeks.
Oh, hell yeah.
For a later segment. But yeah, Scott's been been doing well.
Sweet.
He scored 156 points against me last week or week 6 to take home the money.
Wow.
I got the second high score that week. That's good enough for one more loss in my L column.
Sucks to suck, man.
I fucking know.
Next question. This actually comes from Bakeroo. Will the matchup between Lamb of Rod and Team Jiggy Jiggy come down to a head-to-head battle between Zach Moss and Devin Singletary?
Very specific.
Unfortunately, we have some updated point totals, both
no
Hand
way.
and Bush, because of the Thursday night game, in which one team is heavily favored. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah. I made this decision before the game yesterday. I said no way. I had Colin losing by a lot. And the whole point I wrote on a napkin. I just was like, I think Hopkins is going to have a great game. And I think Jiggy Jiggy, opposite to you, Bacon, I think Jiggy Jiggy has been having some shitty luck. He's scored the most points. And it's like, if he played most people most weeks, he would win. And I just looked at the matchup, and I don't think it's even close. I think it's on Monday night. Yeah, there'll be points scored, but not enough.
Yeah, the Stafford and Cooper Kupp stack has been lights out. Almost doomed me last week. Stafford got 27 points, and Cooper Kupp bested that with 33 points.
Oh, and you still got the W, though.
I had to work hard. I did say it was going to be an easy win, and it up until halftime of Monday Night Football, it was not locked up. So I will have an atonement sip for that easy win comment. Colin had a underwhelming Thursday night game. So
yeah, it's unfortunate.
It doesn't look like the Singletary Moss duel will determine this outcome, but it should be fun to watch.
It will be fun.
I had both of those guys on my roster last year, and it wasn't a question of which one should I start, but should I start a Bills running back was the weekly question. And the answer was usually no.
Well, next question, moving on. Another one from Bacon. Over under number of NFL games Weaver watches this weekend.
This is a good question for Bill. How often did you watch the games, or at what time did you watch games while you were in Spain?
I was going to say, this is a number that is directly correlated to commitment. If you want to watch games in Spain, there's nothing to stop you. And I'm talking to Weaver here. I know.
If he has
games start at like
ball
7. Like, you're not doing anything at 7 on a Sunday. And if you are, then you're having a good time. But either way, you can watch it. It's commitment. You could watch those games. You can watch the next games. The Sunday night game, yeah, you don't watch that. It's like 4 a.m. So now I'm just rating Weaver's commitment. I think it's low. I think he's not going to watch many games. I bet you he doesn't watch any. It's kind of like a 0 or like 4. There's no way. I'm taking the 0. I don't think he's watching anything.
I think because there is some heightened awareness and attention on him because of this question, he will make an effort to watch the game.
He might catch a glimpse or a play. I don't know. I mean, he's not going to watch a game.
Is he going to be streaming it, or will he go to a pub, or what do they call it?
Streaming. They'll show football, not football.
Okay. There's no American football pub in Spain.
He won't go to it. They're not good to go to.
Okay. If he's streaming it, I bet. Yeah, he'll be over 1.
Okay.
I'm taking the under. Prove me
Fair
wrong.
enough.
Prove me wrong, Weaver.
Atonement worthy
Yeah.
wager for to be reviewed.
Which could still be influenced.
Next question, same but for Scott.
Gosh, how do you even begin?
Game Scott watches this weekend.
Is Scott a Vikings fan now? Can we
I don't think he's a football
find out before next week?
because they play the Sunday night game against the Cowboys.
Does he root for the LA Chargers or LA Rams?
I think if he roots for anybody, it's the Rams, but I think he roots for no one.
I'm gonna bet the over on 1.
Wow.
I think he watches
So you
like
think Weaver's under, but Scott's over.
yeah, I get like a
Wow.
1.5. I think he'll watch 1.5 games.
Yeah.
I'm taking the
He
under.
probably watched Thursday night.
I'm taking the under. Oh, interesting. Wow.
He's already got the one. If he
Well, this question says this
clicks through on Sunday. Oh, it's this weekend. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, it does say this weekend.
Monday doesn't count either.
I can watch that.
Does
Thursday night
Monday
from the
Monday
plane.
count?
No.
Thursday.
Thursday doesn't count. Monday doesn't count.
Okay, Sunday only.
I still think he watches 1.01 over 1. I'm over 1.
Over 1. He watches a minute into the
I
afternoon
think
game.
he happens to catch a minute. And he didn't mean to.
Then he's got to get back to studying.
Yeah. He's like, gosh, there's other games on. Like,
All right,
1
so
minute.
we got Weaver and
I'm working
Scott
too.
over unders. We'll check back in. Maybe they'll let us know.
What was
on
your
the
bet?
Udemy. For Scott? I think Scott's under 1. I think Weaver is over 1.
wow, I'm inverse. Bacon, what about you?
Scott is going to watch more than one football game this weekend.
And what do you have for Weaver?
Weaver is also going to watch more than one football
Okay,
game.
so
All
we didn't get the
right.
over for both.
We're all
Okay.
different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bacon's got faith in football. He's like, we're in it together.
One of us will take shots.
No, I take that back. I want to go back. Weaver's
What?
not
There
going
you
to watch
go,
football.
Mac.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bacon on a team.
Weaver's going to watch 0 football this weekend.
Let's
Wow,
go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Well, this makes it pretty even, Steven, and we'll see. All right, we'll revisit. Weaver, you let us know. I think this podcast is going to come out like tomorrow sometime. So Weaver might not even get to it. before
Don't let
football
it in.
games.
Yeah, he won't even listen to it
That
because
is-
he's so busy. He's in Spain, bro. Anyway,
Next question. This one actually is a more in-depth question. Submitted by Adam from Oakland.
This is a great question.
Who's your least favorite fantasy player of this year and of all time? So I can start. My least favorite fantasy player of this year. I actually have 2. It's a tough one. So they're both currently on my team. One is Robbie Anderson because he has completely nosedived as to what I drafted him for after last year. I thought I was just like stacking the wide receivers to, if Julio Jones is injured, I'll have Robbie Anderson. I'll be tough. Who am I choose? No, Robbie Anderson's been god awful, like crazy god awful. And Weaver actually has been saying this the entire season that the chemistry is not there with Darnold. And I guess he's right. So Robbie Anderson is definitely on my shit list for this year. Side note, he's very available if anyone wants to trade with me. He's leading the league in targets over the last few weekends, and the opportunity equals
I think
good stuff.
I think he's leading the league in drops too.
Unconfirmed. He also is on a leaderboard for unrealized air yards or air yards where it's the quarterback's fault. Have you guys seen this?
Wow.
They have all these
Wow.
advanced stats where it's air yards, which it's directly the quarterback's fault that you don't catch it. So just inaccurate. Robbie Anderson's on all those lists, which is not the list you want to be on.
DJ Moore also on the trading block with that recent stat.
Second on my team is Mike Davis. I drafted him as like my RB2, and He has been like so ho-hum. He's like around, he was like between 8 and 11 points, which is like pretty mediocre up until last week. And last week it was 1 point. He scored one goddamn point in my lineup. F. So that's my this year least favorite. What about you, Bill?
This year's least favorite, it's hard to say when your star players just have injuries. You can't you don't want to juju them. So I'm just gonna not have a least favorite player this year.
Okay, so all time then.
Jameis Winston. I cannot deal with that guy anymore. I had him 2 years ago. He was my quarterback one. And I had Godwin, so it was a great stack. But oh my Lord, the roller coaster of a ride you would have on Sunday or Monday, whenever the fuck he played. The only way to combat that was with Jameson. That was the only way to combat that. That's why I drink it every Sunday. They're sponsoring my segment here of who's my least favorite player. And I made a vow I will never draft a wide receiver tied to him. That's why I dropped Callaway. I went against my own advice there. And so I don't like Jameis at all. Winston.
Bacon? You're muted.
You're muted.
Thank you for reminding me. There's a train going by.
Yeah,
I heard it.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
that.
All right. I have my least favorite player from this year. I have 2-part answer. If you asked me this question in the first 3 weeks, my answer would have been Baker Mayfield, only because I drafted him right before Rob Gronkowski, who had a stellar start to the season. Since then, Gronk has been banged up a little bit, and I've forgotten about Baker Mayfield a little as well. So my new least favorite player is Myles Gaskin, who I cannot seem to time right to whether he's going to have a good week or a bad week. And he's just racking up points on my bench. All-time least favorite is tough. Antonio Brown comes to mind right now because he's scoring so many damn points against me. And I've never had him on my team. I think I drafted Kareem Hunt the year he punched somebody in an elevator. That's a bad memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a least favorite fantasy player. I'll think about it.
Sure. Yeah, one. So for me, all time comes to mind. Trent Richardson. I drafted him with the 7th or 8th overall pick the year that we were in Pebbles and Max's place, and we put the brown paper bag up on their wall. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
On the wall. Same year, I drafted Keenan Allen as a rookie in the 16th round.
Wow.
But in any case, Trent Richardson, drafted him that year after he came off a huge rookie season or something, or a second season with the Browns. In that year, he was traded to the Colts, and everyone's like, oh, now he's going to go off. The Colts are going to be unstoppable. And he became the sack of shit that we all know him to be. So
right.
Trent Richardson would be my least favorite.
That was the year I drafted Kaepernick in the 5th round. I remember that paper bag wall. That was a legendary effort put forward by Max and Peebley.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Wow.
That was really cool.
Origin stories of Frisbee touchdown.
Wow.
Thank you, listeners. We always look forward to your questions. So, Bacon, do you want to jump into your segment now?
Are we on the free agent available budget?
We are now to the fab. Yep.
Great. Yeah, there's been a little bit of movement in the points per fab dollar spent week to week. O'Malley is still the number one scoring fab player He's dipped a little bit. He went from 5.15 points to 4.92, but he's still solidly winning the waiver wire purchase battle, if that's worth anything.
It is for sure. Who spends their
His
money?
points dipped a little bit this week. He spent some money on Marquez Valdez-Scantling and dropped him immediately.
That's
And
what
then
I'm gonna do.
he spent another $1 on the Dallas defense, who I think he had previously scored a lot of. Dallas defense scored a lot of points for him, but he dropped them, and now he spent $1 to get him back, and they have scored 0 points since he's had him back in his lineup. So his points have dipped a little bit.
So this doesn't include this next week, right? This is before.
This is live.
This is live.
This is live, yeah. So it includes Thursday night statistics as well as all acquisitions made this week, all acquisitions purchased this week.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you probably jumped up a few slots there with your Cobb pickup.
Let's see. I was in 10th at 0.50 points per dollar. And yeah, so I actually had to separate the math. Randall Cobb was actually the second player that I claimed off of waivers for money. I spent $9 back several weeks ago, and he got 0 points, and I dropped him. And then I picked him up this week for $4. He got 15 points. I went from down 5.0 to 1.27. That puts me in 4th place in this competition, from 10th to 4th with Randall Cobb.
So question, I might be getting ahead of myself. I just spent $7 on Boston Scott and then shipped him immediately to Adam.
I saw that. And
wow,
we just made a note that Boston Scott is now Ernest Johnson and Melvin Gordon.
Oh, hell yes.
The Joe Burrow trade.
That's true.
That's the end. That is the end of the math.
So every point that Gordon and Ernest Johnson score, they factor into my $7 for Boston Scott?
No, they do not, because it cost you Joe Burrow as well. So it cannot be
I
equated.
picked him up for free.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would agree that
that's not part of the math.
Stats are hard to measure when you trade.
These are the advanced stats we got.
Much like the Sterling Shepard for Trey Lance.
Yes.
That Peebly executed. Sterling Shepard cost Peebly $7, and he turned him into Trey Lance. So it's just a fun side quest to follow, but there will not be any further analysis by the analysis committee.
So we know 1st and we know 4th. Where else everybody else fall?
Let's see what other kind of movement we have. Peebly took a hit. He went from 2nd to down. Down. What did he do? He picked up Greg Zerline. Oh, yep. He had this Sterling Shepard move.
Yep.
That's Trey Lance. That'll be measured later. And Robert Tonyan got 6.5 points last night. And he's out.
Wait, didn't it? That was for Peps, not Adam. Oh, maybe
that was for Peebly.
Okay.
Brad moved up. He had a good week. What did he do? Where is he?
Team Jiggy.
Cordarrelle. Brad didn't spend any money. So his points went up and his fab stayed the same.
Oh.
That's his secret.
That's how you do it.
He still only has 2 acquisitions. Cordarrelle Patterson scored more points. His fab per dollar, his points per dollar went up. Bill made an improvement. Bill is right behind Brad in 3rd place.
I didn't even play Penny though.
Oh yeah, what about Penny? That is $15 he spent.
Wait, let me check my formulas here.
Like, there's no way I went up.
Spent 15, got 0 points.
No. Who scored? Hunter Renfrow is still chipping away.
Let's
Did
go.
who else scored points this week for you? Khalil Herbert, maybe?
Oh yeah. Dude, I'm set.
Well,
dude.
so even with
I'm
spending
set.
$15, you're still hey,
Yeah.
There you go.
You got time?
Well, hell
Colin.
yeah, dog.
Colin didn't make any big moves. He traded away Boston Scott. That's the end of that story.
I picked up Cincinnati D to play against Brad.
Yep. You didn't have a lot of movement in the standings. Adam improved his case. He only spent $3 in Fab. I don't think he scored a whole lot of extra points, but he didn't spend a lot. Evan made a big jump. What did he do? Christian Kirk has been scoring points since week 1 or 2, I think.
Oh, yeah, big Thursday night.
He got some garbage time points. He was down at like 2 points with 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. And then Arizona had to get pass happy, and he pushed that up to 6.5. So I didn't like to see that because I'm playing Evan this week, but it helped his placement in this Fab
the
battle.
end zone for Kyler to throw that pick instead of for them kicking a nice Matt Prater field goal to go to overtime. Listen,
Love to hate to see it. Weaver moved up. He didn't spend any money, but Eli Mitchell scored a bunch of points this week.
Mitchell, yeah.
And so did, the Philadelphia defense got 1 point. Only cost them 2. But Eli Mitchell made some moves. Stu hardly moved. Max, who spent all of his budget, can only go up from here.
Booker, yeah, right.
Devontae Booker got a handful of points. So he is now in last place with 0.24 points per dollar spent instead of 0.10 points per dollar
only
spent.
one way to, we got to check in. This is good. The check-ins are good.
Wow.
Yep. That's the movement.
Bro.
And we'll try to tally this up again next week and submit it if I can't be on hand to explain.
Yeah, this is great. Quickly run through the other Fab action. Said Tony went to Pebs for $3. His ACL is torn. That sucks. Greg the leg goes to Pebs. I picked up the Cincinnati D for $5. The only other bid was a $0 wager, so kind of overspent. But the opportunity against the Jets with the second string quarterback without their first wide receiver 1 against Brad was too good to pass up.
Could have bet one.
Could have, for sure. Pittsburgh defense goes to Pebbles for $8.
Wow.
8% of his overall Fab
Pebs
goes
is
to the
loaded.
Pittsburgh D.
8, 3, and 3.
Oh yeah, well, he spent a lot of money for Tanyan, who's dead, Greg the leg, and Pittsburgh D. Weaver bet $5 for that defense. Weaver actually dropped them, so Weaver has a little comeuppance here and cutting bait with that defense he drafted. Been said, I spent $7 on Boston Scott. The next closest bid was $5, so contested one, and I shipped that to Adam immediately.
Yep.
That's basically the Fab movement. A few other moves.
Yeah, it's another thing that's interesting to note, other than points per dollar, but just who has scored the most points off of their Fab acquisitions. O'Malley is up to almost 90 points off of his 6 or 7 moves. And Evan has 82 points. Most of that coming from Christian Kirk and Henry Ruggs, who were his first 2 acquisitions. Adam has 50 points. Brad, 70 points. Weaver, 60 points. Bill, 60 points. Bacon, myself, 79 points.
Damn.
So those are the people scoring. They're spending their budget. They're getting points on the scoreboard.
Wait, where am I at? Is there totals?
Colin, you have 33 points,
Ah,
You
and
suck.
your last 4 acquisitions have not contributed to the scoreboard.
let's see. How many? 30, 33?
Dog.
How many choices?
It's all
Why are
only
you
Arizona.
looking at how
Your
bad?
first
I just wanna
pickup,
say-
Arizona defense.
Okay, so I got about a point per dollar I've spent so far.
Cincinnati D, Boston Scott, Chris Evans, and Van Jefferson.
Well, yeah, those guys, Chris
You
Evans and Van
spent-
Jefferson, I spent and cut.
Yeah.
Van Jefferson though fucking scored for you, and now is like all about it. God, did that?
For free. Yeah.
The freaking.
For free.
I feel like that always happens to me. I pick somebody up, I drop them, they blow up. Whatever. Doesn't anything
Well,
there.
you could be more like me. I drafted AJ Green, dropped him, and then spent $18 on him, and it's turned it into 26.5 points. And I've gone back to the Randall Cobb. I've spent now $13 in 2 acquisitions for Randall Cobb. Paid off this
15 points, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that's a good. That's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
week.
What was it? 3 catches, 15 yards. Yeah, good game.
Yeah. 2 slants.
Transaction adjacent. 2 trades happened, both involved by me, so I will not comment, but I want to get your two's decision. First trade between Adam and I, Melvin Gordon and Dearness Johnson for Burrow and Scott.
I think Adam cleaned up. I think whoever traded away those players sucks.
Adam was talking to me last week, and he was looking for a tight end because my quarterbacks weren't as good as Colin's quarterbacks on the market. I didn't want Melvin Gordon that badly. I needed a wide receiver more than a running back. And I think Adam got a good deal for his pieces.
No, I'll say I could see how it benefits both teams. I know Colin had an abundance of quarterbacks, although in his next transaction, he shipped off another prospect. So I feel like if you look at this individually, this was a beneficial for both teams. I do think Gordon, what's the other running back?
Javante
Williams. I
Yeah.
do think he looks really good. Like it's one of those where like whenever Gordon gets the ball, you're like, why are you giving it to him? Like the other guy is just more explosive. But I also don't think Boston Scott's going to be very good. That's just what I think. But so I think it's net neutral. I could see why both teams wanted to do it.
Yeah, in my thought process was Burrow and Rodgers are basically identical as like value. They were 9 and 10, I think, or 8 and 9 in quarterback ranks when we made the deal. Obviously, Rodgers had a less than stellar Thursday night, which is not great as Burrow's about to light up the Jets. But talking about my team construction and Mike Davis, who like is my goddamn RB2 or was slated to be, with Chubb's injury history this year and my next guy being Zach Moss, who like hovers around 12 points. I just felt like I needed another running back and I got some insurance. And Burrow is someone who was like a extra piece on my bench. Him or Rodgers, like the same. I can't play them both.
Yeah.
And Boston Scott was just like the throw-in basically at the end of it.
We'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, second trade was Sterling Shepard for Trey Lance. Negligible. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I had Trey Lance. We all know I played him in front of Brady, and I was not a happy camper, as they say. I dropped his ass, and looking back, how I would analyze this trade was like, imagine if I could drop Trey Lance and add Sterling Shepard, I would do it. So I think that was a fine trade. I think Trey Lance's his appeal is all like a could be as opposed to like a what will. I think he's going to be good. He can run fast. and he runs a lot. And Sterling Shepard's on the Giants, so it's just like I don't know. I would hate to play either one in my lineup.
Woof. Well, moving on. Great visiting that section. My thinking for that Sterling Shepard trade was, Lance was like maybe I can have this guy on my bench until the very end of the season, and then by then he has the starting job and has some weak matchups. Whereas the reality is Julio Jones is like my wide receiver 3/4. He can't play. I need another wide receiver. Sterling Shepard is a target monster when he's healthy. So I'd rather fill out my roster than have like a potential future, because sitting at 3 and 4 and now being like severely down in the bush this week, I can't have many more weeks where I lose. So that was my thinking. I just kind of rounded my roster.
Yeah, it's good to have a target monster in your wide receiver corps.
For sure.
All right, we've reached the lightning round. League picks leaderboard updated with week 7. In the lead, still, no one can unseat this guy. Adams got 25 points. He went 4-2 in week 7. Colin now separating from O'Malley, 22 points with a 5-1 week in week 7. O'Malley is 21 with 4-2 week in week 7. Pebbles also a 4-2 week, but it's 16 points. There's a big separation between 3rd and 4th. Pebbles also did not submit any picks for week 8, probably because of daddy duties, but Daddy might have to pay for the whiskey for somebody else eventually. We'll see.
Yeah.
Stu also has 16 points. He's back in the game. He had a 5-1 week in week 7.
Wow.
Beaver, now 14 points. Did not submit any picks for week 7, but I think he was back in the running for week 8. And Bacon, who was forced to submit picks last week because he did the podcast, went 4-2, and now he's at 12. So from the top, we got Adam, Colin, Sean, Pebbles, and Stu tied for 4th. Weaver and Bacon bring up the rear. Bacon, you get your picks in this week?
I did. I submitted them before the game started yesterday.
Okay. I was pestering both you guys. Very good.
I will say, Pebbles, I know you're probably watching this. Well, so when I was holding little wee baby Pebbles, he was fixing light bulbs, light switches. He fixed the garage. I didn't even see him. He was in full dad mode, fixing everything.
Finally had a break from the baby.
I think the dad switch flipped on. He's like, I gotta fix shit, and he just like is now walking around the house with a screwdriver. I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. His over under for watching footballs is probably near 1, because he's probably just gonna be, I don't know, fixing areas.
This is a new Peebly.
There's no way. Pebbles will be like with the baby. He'll have like a iPad or his phone streaming the game as he's walking through the house.
Yeah.
Baby's
Evan,
first
get ready. I'm sure you'll have dad mode engaged too. You'll have 2 screwdrivers.
Baby.
You need to learn the right, left, synchronized turn.
Evan is ambidextrous. He is left-handed but throws with the right hand.
If I know Evan, he's ambidextrous.
It's a dad league. It's so funny.
League.
We ever said it's a dad league. Why are people making moves in the middle of the night? I was like, what do you mean it's a dad league? But now with every year ticking down, more babies or something to pop out.
Yeah, Max, comment with your screwdriver ability.
Yeah,
we'd love to hear you.
How's your left hand, Max?
I say it's subpar, but right hand. No, he's a righty.
He's a righty.
Right hand on point. Left hand, I bet it's better than most, but not good.
Hot take.
Hey,
if someone wants to do a left-handed screwdriver power rankings for the league, that would be fun. Fun listener submission.
This the dumbest. Fast forward 3 minutes. Skip.
O'Malley and Evan at the top, being Kurt as proxy, way at the top.
He's left for sure. You can't have that. Hall of Fame, left-handed screwdriver champion.
All right, we're in the picks. Quickly reviewing last week's matchup. Lamb of Rod versus Lamar Jackson. I chose Lamar. Bacon chose Lamb of Rod. Unfortunately, Lamar won that one out. Field of Barren Dreams versus Doug Judy IR Bandit. We both picked Weaver in that one, and he won. Bacon, we both picked you over Team Jiggy Jiggy, and you did it. Hell yeah.
Guess what?
Putting that guy down a peg. You're going up in the ranks, Bacon. You're leaving those guys who are 1-6 in the dust. Yep. In the Minaj versus Law and Order FVU, who then changed his name to Ernest. Huge victory for Adam in that one as O'Malley barely eclipsed 56 points. And that was actually your pick there, Bacon, O'Malley. We both had Bill beating Max, and that did happen. And then we both picked Evan to beat Scott, and that also happened. So
fun fact about Evan, he has now won. So he's 3-0 in his last 3 weeks. The last 2 weeks, he's won by a combined score less than 1 point.
Damn.
He's had some very, very close victories. And I think this week he benched his defense because Scott's team was done on Monday night. But I thought that was an incredible stat. This past week, he won by 0.26 over Scott. And the week before, 0.50.
But he actually benched his defense?
He did.
What the hell?
To avoid the negative score and the L. Just to remain in first place.
Defense.
It was a Monday night game.
So he had either the Saints or the Seahawks?
He didn't have the Seahawks because I was playing Max, who had the Seahawks.
So he had the Saints.
Yeah.
And what did they end up scoring?
Not negative. But A.J. Dillon got negative, so he hypothetically could have lost. Negative points are real.
I feel like that's well, let's debate that, the three of us.
No.
What?
That was active
roster
decision, and it worked out. How could you deny it?
I see the logic. What I think is that the chances of your defense or any player getting negative points is so tiny versus every point matters. Every point matters.
No, it doesn't. The L's, the W's and the L's matter.
More than losses. I understand what you're saying. If it comes down, but when you're 6-1, which he is, he just needs to get to the playoffs. Can you imagine can you imagine in a world where he got minus points and he lost because he played a defense? You know what? Can you imagine that?
That could be his bye right there.
Yeah. No. Evan, you're good.
Evan has won the last 2 weeks by 0.76 points combined.
That's ultra efficient if I ever heard it. Evan is an efficient guy.
I'm pissed. You know what my margin of victory has been the last 2 weeks?
I know you lost to Stu with 200, so I would say
I did. That was 3 weeks ago.
100?
Man. Points against. Let's run through this real quick. The last 3 weeks, points against. I'm going to start with myself. 168 points against in the last 3 weeks. That's an average. I'm playing against 168 each week.
Yeah.
He playing against 110 points.
Yeah. It's, just do better. That is bad. You're the only team with 1,000 points.
You're over
against
100 more than the next person.
Oh, man, there's only one other team with 900.
Yeah,
there's only one team with 900.
That, nobody else.
All right, maybe points against isn't the way to go. Let's go points for. Stu, number 1, 147 points the last 3 weeks. Weaver, number 2, 141. Bacon, number 3, 139. Brad, 4, 132. Scott, 129. Those last 3 people, Bacon, Brad, Scott, 1 and 2 in the last 3 weeks. Evan is 6th best, 127. He's 3-0. Colin, 7, 126 points per game. Max, 111 points per game. He's 0-3 in those 3 weeks. And then Bill, 105 points per game, 1 and 2. Peebly and Adam, 10 and 11, averaging 101 points per game. They're both 2 and 1.
Boo!
And O'Malley, the only person averaging under 100 points per game last 3 weeks, He's also 1-2, the same record as me.
I'm playing him this week. I'm gonna win.
Yes, you are.
He's gonna have 100 points.
Whoa.
Sorry, he's gonna have 100 points. It's done.
Okay. We fucking spin this. Okay, so we are now into this. Well, one more note on Evan. He's won 5 in a row. Evan has won 5 games in a row.
Wow.
Which is the longest win streak. The next longest is 2 in a row by Adam.
Wow.
The importance of starting to Ernest, which is no longer even on his team. So name change still needed. And Max is a 3-game losing streak, which is the longest losing streak. Poor Max. Picks this week. All right. Let's start with the matchups here, but let's not do anyone that we're involved in. So why don't we go with Fields of Barren Dreams? Also, someone who needs a new name because he dropped Justin Fields. Versus the Landry Down Under. Now, again, all these picks were made pre-Thursday night, so some of it's going to be a little wonky as we have to defend picks that we made before that game. I know myself included is in that one, but for now, Pebs versus Scott. Bacon, where are you at?
The Bush points are straight on here. They're like less than a 1 point difference. So,
yeah.
I submitted my picks, but I can't remember what I said. I picked Scott. I picked Aaron Jones and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray did not do it. I do not think San Francisco defense is all that great, although Chicago is super weak right now. Scott has my Atlanta defense that I drafted and then dropped. He's playing them against Carolina, who has Sam Darnold, cold and hot Sam Darnold. No, but I think Scott's running back core that we mentioned earlier, most notably DeAndre Swift, is going to carry him to victory.
Okay. Bill?
Yeah, I chose Scott under the basis, and my notes say this. Pebs is bad. Just sorry to say it, Pebs. I'm looking at your team, and like on paper, it looks good. Like, I just think it's like you ask the question, when is Keenan Allen gonna get in the end zone? Is Lockett gonna have a good game? It's just like I feel like the team needs to prove itself. Whereas Scott's with this Thursday night matchup in the books already, you do have a chance with Murray only scoring 9 points. Yeah, love to see that. But it's even now, I still have Scott. I still think Scott's going to pull it out.
I also chose Scott. I think Scott's team overall is better. I think Scott's receivers are not better, but he definitely makes it up with Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, and Aaron Jones. Those 3 running backs are like top, 10. I know Aaron Jones actually struggled a little bit before this game, but put up 20. Even with, I picked Kyler up. Everything's going to put sub 10. But on Pebble's side, a lot of question marks outside of Cook. And Lockett with Geno is just rough. So I think Scott's team is just in a better spot right now. So that's who I chose. Yes. Next, why don't we do Jamar Alaxon versus I need a new team name, Adam. Who you got in this one, Bacon?
I picked Adam. And I picked Adam because Lamar Jackson was out of the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
He's going with Carson Wentz. Adam's got his brand new shiny quarterback all polished up and in his starting lineup. I think Adam's going to win.
Yeah. My pick was Stu, and I hate to see that his players did not live up to expectations on the Thursday, but my notes that I wrote on my napkin say that Higbee, I think, is going to have a game. I just think he's due for one. And Pittman, until proven otherwise, I think is just doing great things. And I do think this will be more of a competitive game with Tennessee on the docket. I think it'll just be like an offensive, especially for the Colts. I think they'll need to score points. Whereas when you look at Adams' team, I think it is solid. I think this is a very close matchup. Yeah, I still lean Stu, though. He's still riding high off his wedding. So we'll see.
I guess he's 2-0 since then.
He is.
He's 2-0 since the wedding. I also taken Adam.
Wait, whoa.
He might have lost last week.
2-1 since the wedding because
Yeah,
he
lost
put
last
up a duck the week after.
That's
Duck.
right. He scored under 100 and
Yeah.
2-1. Thank you for the clarification.
Sorry,
He beat me.
I did the research.
Okay, he beat me last week. Besides, my team didn't show up. It's fucking Donovan Peoples-Jones. Anyway, so yes, I think Adam's gonna win. A lot of it rides on Burrow against the Jets. I think he's gonna outplay his Bush. But I think you're catching Stu on a week where he doesn't have Lamar Jackson or Devontae Adams. It's gonna be a tough week for him to win.
Also, Antonio Gibson's been slumping, been banged up.
Yeah, I think he had a fumble last week when he did play. So, yeah, my pick is also Adam. I think also Calvin Ridley is going to start to turn on a little bit more. The targets are there. The receptions are not. The yards are really not there. But I think it's only a matter of time. The Falcons' offense is kind of coming out of their shell now that Pitts is stepping up. And so Ridley is really talented. He can't stay down forever. So, also picking Adam. Next matchup, why don't we do Hooked on Stephonics versus Doug Judy Pontiac Bandit? So Max versus Weaver. Where are we at, Bacon?
Max has a big Bush advantage right now. I picked my contender, Doug Judy.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's just wishful thinking, wishful hoping. I need the favorites to win and everybody that's in my way to lose. I don't want Max to start getting hot with Josh Allen and Tyreek Hill. I'm just rooting for Weaver's team on this.
This is not an analytical pick. This is a hopeful pick.
No, I do that a lot. This is how I'm going to get back in playoff contention. I'm going to will my team and everyone else's team to make it so.
Well, I will say this is one of my upsets of the week with the, I believe, number 12 Max going against number 2 Weaver, with Max taking the victory. And this happened, and Chase Edmonds has delivered. And even before that, I think the stack of Allen to Diggs is going to pop off this week. But not only that, but I think Sanders is not going to have a good game. So that combination of the Bills stack going up with Sanders going down, I do think this is all hindrance. If Weaver watches football and drinks, I do think Sanders has a good game. I do
watch the Bills game. Yes.
I believe in drinking your team to victory. This is a big. If Weaver watches the Bills game and starts drinking, I do think Max will be in trouble.
That would be the game to watch.
Yeah.
Weaver needs to be rooting hard for Sanders to not only vulture Stephon Diggs' touchdowns or plays, but also to hedge Josh Allen.
Yeah. Yes.
It needs to be a big game for Sanders for Weaver to have a play here.
I'm also taking Max in this one.
There you go.
I think Weaver all year has been pounding the table saying that Allen, Hill, and Diggs can score 90 by themselves. And I think this is going to be the week that it happens.
That'd be so funny.
But in addition to that, well, Weaver currently doesn't have a defense. So that'll probably change so that Bush will sneak a little closer. Mitchell, I will say, has been doing well in the past few weeks for Weaver. So that's starting to look like a good expenditure. But having Chenault in your flex, I think, is rough versus Booker, who, again, Lesai that I dropped. They're going up against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs look terrible the last few weeks. So combination of Graham Gano as a kicker and Booker as the flex, I think, is going to just be the icing on the cake of Max's victory in this one. Plus, the Seattle defense against Jacksonville is a sneaky play, too, that I like. So taking Max. Next one, we can do my matchup. We'll go
Cool.
Lamb of Rod versus Team Jiggy Jiggy. So, Bacon, who do you got in this one?
Lamb of Rod. Jiggy Jiggy's a pretender. Let me just make sure that's what I clicked on. Yeah.
Still in my corner. Hell yeah.
Mike Williams is going to have a bad week. This is the week that the ball goes to the other side of the field.
Keenan.
Keenan Allen. That's right. Cordarrelle Patterson. He's the guy in Atlanta somehow. Devin Singletary, TJ Hawkins. He's starting Rob Gronkowski. Gronkowski's going to be blocking back at best. Not going to run a lot of routes. I think the LA Chargers are going to light it up against the New England defense. I think you have a big defensive advantage with Cincinnati against the Jets. Nice pickup this week. And Melvin Gordon's going to have a good game against Washington.
Hell yeah.
I'm going Colin.
Yeah, you look at the Bush points, and it's not looking good. And I made this pick before these games. I had Brad. Listen, I think Brad has just been mismatched this whole entire year. He has the points. You can't deny it. I do agree that Mike Williams doesn't have a great game. And I agree with you that Patterson also doesn't have a good game. But you look at his team, it's very stacked. It's very rare you could play two tight ends and you're like, that's a good play. And just to confirm the fact, I'm sorry, Colin, but your team did not perform well on Thursday. I don't see how I concede my argument. You should go.
Okay, so yeah, pre-Thursday game, I picked myself. I thought Thursday night would be a high-scoring affair, so I honestly thought all of Rodgers, Hopkins, and Prater Hopkins and Prater I thought would like double their output for sure, and Rodgers would float with 25. Didn't happen, obviously. I picked against Brad because I think Gronkowski is coming off an injury, and I feel like the Bucs are not going to have to do that much against the Saints to where they might be able to just run with playoff Lenny there. Singletary and Moss is a fun one. I like how that's happening in this matchup. It really is a toss-up because I think their usage is pretty equivalent, but Moss gets the end zone looks, and I think the Bills will have no problem moving the ball against the Dolphins, and so I'm hoping for at least one, if not multiple, end zone dives from Moss. I realize Josh Allen is involved around the end zone, but what I've seen of the Bills this year, they seem to be not using Allen as much as that goal line back, maybe trying to protect him a little bit. And I'm like crossing my fingers that the Rams are going to just run it up on Houston so much that Stafford and Kupp don't have to go off. If they play as they have been, then I'm probably going to be in trouble, but I'm hoping that fucking Henderdog has a good game and maybe Stafford one or two throwing touchdowns, but not four, right? Like
5.
I'm hoping that the Rams are in control by halftime and then they kind of coast. So, and then yes, of course, Cincinnati defense putting up big numbers against Brad would be the icing on the cake after he spent 11 fab on them.
Hell yeah.
That's
All
the
right,
path.
2 more
This is
left. Let's go. Let's go. Menage a Trois versus Twilight New Mooney. Bacon, who you got?
Menage a Trois is going to win. This will be a no contest.
Yeah, no kicker. Yeah.
God
Uh,
damn.
No
I
contest.
don't even have a kicker, bro. Oh, by the way, I gotta drop my. Go ahead, Dagan.
O'Malley's rested. He had by McGinnon. He had a tough break last week. No, he set himself up for failure, but his players are ready to go. I think everybody's going to beat their projections. Everyone that had a bye last week will beat their projections this week. And this is an easy win for Menage a Trois.
I also am picking Sean in this one. Yeah, I mean, you got kind of a patchwork team going here, Bill, with Hubbard, Herbert, and Freiermuth and Mooney,
Freiermuth.
all those guys. I mean, O'Malley's stable of Harris, Eckler, and Robinson, not to mention Waddle's get a target monster. Boyd up against the Jets, even though he's like the number 3 in that passing game. And I think Mahomes rebounds after his like so week against the poorest Giants defense on Monday night.
Yes, indeed.
I'm also taking O'Malley.
All right. Well, here's where I'll chime in. If you were to rewind, I think 3 hours ago in this podcast, during our atonement section, I said in advance I would drop Rashad Penny. I need a kicker this week. I don't have a kicker. I'm going to have 2 kickers this week. I don't want to drop the Raiders kicker. So I spent 15 fab on Penny. I am now dropping him live on the podcast. I'm not even picking up a kicker. I'm going to make that a game time decision.
Yep, there he goes.
And he's gone. No, I still think I'm going to win because O'Malley is one of the worst teams in the league. I will say it.
There's a notification.
Yeah. No, like I understand. Like I do see a scenario where I get beat by Mahomes on Monday night, and that's not far from reality. That actually probably what will happen. And my team is hobbled. But even so, you look at my team, you look at O'Malley's team. I think Claypool is not gonna have a game. I think Deontay Johnson's gonna have 2 scores, 20 receptions. It's gonna be a historic game.
That's a fun
fucking $250, 250-yard bet. I'm down. Harris is out of the game. Eckler doesn't play. I think it's gonna be not that even close. I think I'll win.
That is some intrigue. Eckler is questionable right now. So for all of you looking for a running back pickup, those Chargers backups are available and wanting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the last matchup we have, he rides the bench 500 miles versus America. Fuck yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Bill?
Here's my part 2 of upset of the week. We have 11 Bacon going against number 1. I pick fucking Bacon. And not only that, but you are, with your $4 pickup of Cobb, you have solidified it, my friend. The Bush points have never been higher. You got
that jungle bush.
You got the jungle bush, dude. It's you gotta have a machete to get through that shit. No, look at your team. Your team is boomier. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying it's boomier. It's like Evan is obviously 6-1 for a reason. He's solid. And I just think your team pops off this week and you're on track. You are on track, my friend. I have you for a win.
I'd like to hear it. It's going to come down to Fournette versus Mike Evans. We'll see who gets the ball in the red zone there. I got a great start with Randall Cobb. I'm in line to get the money in back-to-back weeks. It'd be 3 weeks in a row if I had bested Scott week 6, but here we are. Like I said earlier, Justin Herbert's going to have a big game against New England. AJ Brown put me through the ringer today. He was healthy to questionable and then questionable to healthy in like an hour span on my Yahoo notifications. But he's in the lineup. He's been trending upward in a big way. Thielen's hot. Cobb got me points that I didn't expect to get, really. I'm really excited as well. I think I'm going to move inch closer to playoff contention after this win.
I am also taking Bacon in this matchup. I think so. Evan picked up David Johnson, is throwing him in there, which is kind of rough. Mike Evans is going against Lattimore on the Saints. That's a matchup that always Lattimore gets like the better of him. And then Kamara just had a huge week, and I think that will continue for him. Yeah, I think this is before any of the games happened, it was a coin flip, right? But I think Prescott's availability is also looming large for this matchup. He's questionable today.
Big time.
Even if he can play, he's going to be a little limited. So even though like Mixon for Evan is going against the Jets and Kelsey is going against the Giants, I think those are really the only two good matchups that Evan's got going on. Cooper's been struggling, whereas AJ Brown for you went off. Justin Herbert, that they're going to get some things right after the bye and that shellacking by the Ravens. So I'm taking Bakeroo in this one.
Let's go.
So before we move on to the end here, going for the group picks, nobody picked Pebbles to win. Did you pick? You didn't pick Pebbles, did you? No. Then looking at the collective group picks here. Bacon versus Evan there's an even split. Nobody picked Bill either.
I picked Bill.
Excuse me. Only one person picked Pebbles. That was Stu. Stu did pick Pebbles. Bill picked Bill. No one else did in the league. Between Stu and Adam, it's like 50-50. Between Max and Weaver, it's 50-50. And between myself and Brad, it's about 50-50.
What's that?
And that's everything.
So it's split right down the middle this week.
Mostly for
A
most
lot
of
of movement.
Yeah.
A lot of movement in the rankings.
So closing thoughts, Bacon?
I'm coming for that playoff spot. If I can get in at number 6, I got the team that can go all the way.
What's the standings?
Yeah. We're doing standings. Bacon is 2-5 at 11. Your points for is middle of the pack ish.
Yeah.
Trending up.
Yeah. I mean, what were you like winless? No, you were 1-5 when we spoke last week, and now you're 2-5. That's a trend. That's a
Big improvement.
You doubled your wins.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna do it. I'm sorry to say it. I kind of need you to lose, and I need other people to win. And I hope I can coast along. And I'm actually aiming for 6th. That'd be great. I'd love to have 6th.
Oh, we're going for the same spot, dude.
Between 3rd and 10th, there are 7. That's 1, 2, 3.
1 win and
4, 5, 6,
couple
7,
points.
8. 8 people are within 1 win of each other.
Yeah.
This is a big week. I feel like every week is a big week.
Every week's a big
Yeah,
week.
this one is some things will happen.
We have 1 versus 11 playing. We have 2 versus 12. We have me and O'Malley 3 and 4 playing.
Brad and I are also 3 and 4, both playing.
No, I'm saying we're seed 3 and 4. You guys are 3 and 4.
3 and 4 in the record, yeah.
Yeah. We're 4 and 3 playing 4 versus 3. You guys are anyway.
All right. Well, cheers, Bacon. Cheers, everybody. Good luck in this weekend. Let's get some chatter going on the group me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kurt, for the jingle.
Yes.
And that's the People's Pod.
See y'all in the chat. Have a good weekend.
Welcome to the Spooky People's Pod. Gather round and listen to the Night Lord. Trick or treat, fill my pillowcase with details. Not with nothing nasty like John Gruden's emails. How about something sweet? Menage a trois, lamb abroad, hooked on Stephonics, Amari Cobb, fuck yeah, Doug, Judy, Pontiac, Bandit. Welcome to the Spooky People's Pod. Gather round and listen to the Night Lord. Oh, hey!